Okay, so we've got our finals match all lined up here. Let's see, we've got Siveure and StickyPickle. I'll message those players as well. We'll take a look at the bracket while we're waiting and check out some of those results that we've had so far. So, as we can see here, Khan taking home that third place. We've got StickyPickle and Siveure who are all lined up for our finals here. I'll let the players know that we're all good to go. So, players competing now for $90 in this top bracket here in the winners match. So, first place will take home 75, second place will take home just 15. So, a significant difference there. An incentive not just for the glory, but for both players to try and really squeeze it out, win something, buy themselves something nice, maybe a Rolex. So, both players have been there.
Rolex.
Yeah, Rolex. You got a couple of those from winning a tournament, didn't you?
No, no Rolex.
Oh, Rolex? Damn. Maybe a knockoff. Alright, so let's take a look at these decks while the players are getting into their game and doing their bans and everything. So, we've got StickyPickle, we've got Siveure. Alright, so Seviere's lineup here, he's got this combo druid. Whoops, that wasn't the right button. Let's try this one. So he's got his combo druid. Here we got the Sylvanas in the 6th slot and Karen. No Black Knight, so a little bit weaker in the druid mirror with this deck list. Also bringing Zulok, pretty standard anti-druid deck, as well as this slightly teched mage or rogue deck here with 1 copy of Conceal, 1 copy of Sen'jin. And rounding out his lineup here, Seviere's got a control warrior that does run Black Knight. So a lot of high value minions here in the 6th slot for him. Taking a look at StickyPickle's decks, he's also brought Warlock, but his is actually Handlock. He's running this Arcane Golem variant with double PO, single copy of Faceless, and single copy, oh no, 2 copies of Shadow Flame. My bad. Combo Druid as well. I would expect to see his combo Druid not get banned. Severe's lineup is pretty well targeted toward Druid just in general. Miracle Rogue, I would say this is likely to be banned, just given both players' lineups. And finishing it off here with this Giants Mage deck that features none other than our boy Nat Pagel. Alright, looks like we are into the games. So, let's take a look. That was very quick. Alright, so looks like StickyPickle has his rogue banned out. He's going to allow Severe's rogue through and ban out the warrior instead. Interesting choice there.
Yeah, I mean the warrior runs Black Knight, right? Which is a
Yeah,
problem for handlock druids.
Black Knight, Sylvanas, and Karen, all cards that are kind of hard to deal with for these control your decks.
And then also, he has a mage in his lineup, so.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Anytime you have any kind of freezy mage, definitely want to be banning out the warrior if possible.
But yeah, I feel like handlock versus aggro is like interesting, right? Because you want to tap with handlock, but you kind of can't. So, kind of like this.
Yeah, I mean it's one of
Kind of
those things
interesting.
too where it's like if you get the molten, if you get double molten giant, you feel like you can do pretty much anything as the handlock as long as you can taunt them up. But if you don't, then you really can just fall to the flood of these early warlock minions.
Um, it's a lot of board.
That is a lot of board. Um, oh, let's get excuse me, let's get StickyPickle's decks up here as well. Okay. Yeah, so ooh, sitting on a lot of giants here. Warlock Mirror. Alright, StickyPickle opting to tap. Now, typically these Mountain Giants aren't worth much in this matchup. And looking at a lot of damage on the board here. We've got 12 plus 3 is 15. And exact lethal here with Soulfire. So even despite that heal from the Earthen Ring, Siveure able to kind of close this game out before it really even got started. Taking an early lead in the series. Zoo doing what Zoo does best.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. That Hellfire looked pretty solid. It just died.
Yeah. This is kind of the danger of playing with handlock in a tournament, or really just in general, is that you can kind of just get run over. You know, the cards that absolutely are backbreaking, like Mountain Giant and Twilight Drake against some decks, will just fail so hard. You know, when we're faced with aggro, and having 2 copies of Hellfire and 2 copies of Shadow Flame doesn't mean much if, you know, they've got 4 HP minions on the board, or you know, death rattle creatures, things like that. Can just be hard to consistently clear the board, and never really gets in Molten range to taunt those up either. So StickyPickle going to stay with his Warlock deck. It looks like Siveure has transitioned into Druid here. And not necessarily the most favored matchup here for Handlock either. Druid can kind of just ramp out of control, get a lot of big minions down. We have seen this matchup a few times so far today.
Yeah, I think Drake's smart here, like increases the chance of you drawing something playable.
Yeah, I also like this choice to play the Drake as well. Really looking for... He's got 6 4-drops, got 2 Yetis, 2 Keepers, 2 Senjin. So with that in mind, it makes a lot of sense, and does actually draw himself into it. Nice. Avoiding that really awkward trade with the BGH there.
Stake it size not to Soul first with the Giants here.
He might still... Oh no, he's... Okay, so he's just gonna use the ping. Oh, and also the Soulfire. Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, he can Soulfire lost, but he decided not to.
Yeah. Well, this is not super easy for Siveure to deal with.
No faceless to stick his hand.
Yeah, that's a good sign. Although the Earthen Ring is a little bit awkward to see. Now that Giant back up at 7 HP. Seems like it's still really difficult to deal with. And Siveure is going to be digging hard. Probably looking for BGH, to be sure. And, you know, I just noticed there are no Twilight Drakes in StickyPickle's hand, or in his deck.
Yeah, no, he likes his engines.
It's crazy. I never noticed that before. This engine is a more practical choice, certainly against aggro decks. But who doesn't love that 4/10 Twilight Drake taunting that bad boy up? I mean, shit, I feel like that's half the reason you play Handlock, right?
It is, yeah. Yeah, all decks kind of has an answer to Drake, I feel, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it's like you don't see Owl really very commonly, right? But you do see Keeper of the Grove. That's a good silence against the Drake. You have Earth Shock for Shaman. You know, there are some ways to deal with it. It's not like a flimsy card, but it's definitely a card that can just get kind of pummeled easily.
I know Sticky plays a ton of hand like those, so
Yeah.
I trust his judgment.
Yeah, oh, totally, totally. I mean, it's the handlock experts in Classic are somehow few and far between. I would expect it to be, because it's got such a high skill cap, I would expect it to be one of those decks that's played at the top end of the ladder a lot. And I think, just on account of sometimes it has weak matchups, like, some shamans run plenty of burn. You get down to 10 HP and play your Moltons, feel like you're winning the game, and all of a sudden Lava Burst and Lightning Bolt hit your face, or Kill Command, or Hunter Hero Power, or there's a lot of burn in decks. Leroy is another one. So yeah, I guess we just don't see it that much. Maybe it's because of the burn. Maybe it's just because of the frustrations of playing against aggro. Now there is no Black Knight in Seviere's deck, so probably feeling pretty comfortable here for StickyPickle to just play Sun Fury on these Molten Giants. I don't think he's too worried about taunting these up. The other option is to not taunt them up, play Ancient Watcher, and avoid like Force of Nature, Savage Roar. I think we have a very good read on Force of Nature, Savage Roar here, right? Because we saw Siveure ramp last turn up to 9. This is the magic 9 number.
That is true, yeah.
But not out of the woods yet. And, well, a couple of ways to finish it here. Could Hellfire his own Leroy off.
Gotta play something card, man.
Severe doesn't give him a chance. Alright, so both players on the board here in the finals. That gives 1 win to Siveure, 1 win to StickyPickle. Both of them coming out swinging with the Warlock. So StickyPickle's got his Druid deck left. He's got his Mage as well. He's banned out the Warrior, so the Mage is feeling a little bit better here. Got a Rogue and a Druid matchup, so I imagine Siveure is going to really try hard to get Druid into Mage and Rogue into Druid. And conversely, I think we're going to see the same thing from StickyPickle trying to get Mage into Rogue. Always kind of difficult here going into these finals matches where you've got 2 decks left each, and you've got both of them counter each other, right? So maybe a little dance here, try and figure out the mind games.
I mean, to be honest, I think like the Giant Freeze Mage is so much better than Freeze Mage is Druid, though.
I think so too, yeah.
But yeah, it's probably still Druid's favored. But to be honest, I haven't played matchup that much, but I don't think it's heavily Druid favored, to be honest.
Yeah, I think, if there were Sun Furies, I would say that it's actually, I wouldn't say maybe Mage favored, but at least 50-50. And we do see Siveure opting for the Rogue, and StickyPickle probably pretty happy here getting his Mage into Rogue.
Yeah, definitely. But then again, the Giants makes this matchup a lot worse. Should still be like a really good matchup, though.
Yeah. Yeah, the Giants and I don't think are as relevant against Mage or against Rogue, right? I mean, maybe. I suppose, there are a lot of sap targets, and Seviere's only playing 1 single copy of sap in his deck, so conceivably if some of those early mountain giants come down, this can put Siveure on the back foot, but still, Vaporize, absolutely insane card against Rogue. Having 2 copies of Ice Block, of course, is just going to be good against Rogue, who deals a lot of burst damage.
Ah, yes, the Net Bagel.
Hell yeah. I think this is what everybody came here to see, right? It's Nat Pagel. 50% chance. Hopefully next tournament we see Nat Pagel alongside Lorewalker Cho. And what do you think? Should he bring out these little 0-2 taunts?
No, I like to hold them. Personally.
Yeah, I think that holding him for Doomsayer is typically the correct choice. And at 4 health, not a great chance that Nat Pagel dies.
He does not care about the Nat Pagel.
Nope. And Nat Pagel not triggering his effect there is, keep in mind, only a 50% chance to draw an extra card, so not guaranteed. But if he sticks for a couple of turns, he can be much more powerful than Luke Porter.
Man, he really does not care.
No?
And it's not drawing.
Who hired? This is this is usually why I would recommend a golden NatPickle. If you're gonna go for NatPickle, you may as well have an animated fish on the card. You know what I mean?
Oh no, there's no reason not to this to it, I suppose.
Do you think he's gonna eviscerate it?
Yeah, you should, right? Whoa, he does not care. It's
That's
actually, it's what is going on?
what? Uh, did this guy get silenced or something? Yeah? How many turns is that he stayed on the board? Turns two, three, four, five, six. He didn't draw a single card with him, right? Maybe he drew one on. I
No,
think
he didn't draw.
hasn't drawn a
That's four
single one.
turns.
Yeah, 5 turns, right? Oh
Is
no,
it?
no, 4 turns. You're right, because it's at the start of the turn. So yeah, uh, and now this is actually a little bit more awkward for Siveure to clear off because he instead of just having a one attack dagger, he's got a deadly poisoned up. Usually, you want to get a little bit more juice out of that if possible. I wonder if
Oh,
Sticky Pickle is considering ice lancing this thing just to make it more
I
awkward.
mean, the visor to face definitely indicates that the rogue has a lot of burst.
And indeed he does. He's got 18 with Leroy plus an extra 4 with Cold Blood. That's a lot of damage. He's also got a Conceal and Eviscerate here. I wouldn't be terribly surprised if this is the turn that Siveure pulls the trigger to get Sticky Pickle down to
Mm,
something not terribly low because of the Moltens, but there's no block up.
right. How you do this? You can.
Oh. And doesn't want to use the coin?
Okay, yeah, this is.
Okay.
But a minion has stealth. It can't.
Hey, look at that friendly innkeeper telling me how Hearthstone works. This motherfucker, I already did the tutorial, dude. Like, I don't need to know about minions and stealth. I am kind of,
Oh well.
yeah, okay, so,
Wait, did its fake a draw? I don't think it
no,
did.
no. Uh, something tells me Sticky Pickle's gonna fire this dumb motherfucker for sitting on the board and doing absolutely nothing. Um, what's that? So 6 turns. Whatever 1/2 to the sixth is the chances of that happening, which I would say is generally speaking pretty statistically unlikely.
Oh
So,
man.
with a single copy of Conceal, Severe able to take it with his rogue deck. That'll be 2-1 in the finals so far for Severe. He's got just his Druid deck lined up here. Still a choice whether to go with Druid or Mage. I would anticipate probably going with the Druid Mirror here from Sticky Pickle's perspective. I do notice both players playing pretty quickly in this, and just as we expected, Sticky Pickle gonna opt for the Druid Mirror.
Oh, there's the Walgrove.
That's an important card, I've heard. Now, as far as who's got the better end of this deal, neither player has decided to bring Black Knight as part of their Druid deck, so both players also opting to play Karen and Sylvanas. So pretty even at the 6th slot. We do have a slight difference here. Sticky Pickle has 2 Violet Teachers, whereas Siveure has 2 Chillwind Yetis, 2 Senjins in that slot. Also notable is Harrison Jones and Sticky Pickle's deck. Not really going to be too important in this matchup. That might be kind of a dead card. And yeah, given that there's a Harvest Golem in hand, I can imagine why Coin Wild Growth is decent here. The curve is otherwise nice. Claw is not going to be too helpful.
Mm, it's definitely difficult. Yeah, I would coin Walgrove too, personally.
Yeah, just getting that Harvest Golem on the board is good. And Innervate Drake. Maybe take our time a little bit. Gonna go right for it. Alright, Sticky.
It's not looking good. It's actually a really close game.
Yeah, both players, neither one really has a perfect hand. I don't think we've really decided who has the initiative yet in this matchup. Now I think we kind of got an idea here with this Druid of the Claw. So StickyPickle going to be able to develop the first kind of uncontested minion on the board here. Siveure going to be playing a little bit from behind with Azure Drake, probably. Might opt for Sen'jin, too. Oh, okay. Wild growth. Now, without a Black Knight in either deck, Ancient of War is a card that gains a lot of value, and Siveure at least will be able to play a 5/5 for 7 here. It will get silenced, but... Alright, so silence plus probably just hero power here, I think. Seems a little crazy to do Savage Roar to clear. I mean, I'm anticipating Keeper of the Grove hero power. But also, yeah, I think you need your face to tank part of this Ancient of War, even though Claw plus hero power does cleanly clear off the Earthring Farseer. Pickle gonna take his time. I think you just can't let this Ancient of War get value, right? You have to silence it here. Holy shit. Actually goes for the 2 damage on it.
They maybe misclicked.
I was thinking the same thing. It's like, what else are you going to use Keeper for here?
Oh no. I think it was just tunnel vision if you should lure or grove there. And yeah, it's a hard play.
Yeah. Alright, so we're opting to cycle here. This Karen is a real pain, though. StickyPickle probably hoping to reload maybe a little bit with the Ancient here. Has a decent play with... actually, yeah. Maybe the Teacher plus Swipe is okay. Feels a little worse now that Savage Roar is out of the hand, but still a pretty dominant board position here for StickyPickle.
Well, it's pretty good clear.
It is, yeah. I do love drawing the cards here, but there's maybe a consideration to heal up Bane Bloodhoof after it trades. I think with such bad cards in hand, though, it's probably the best choice to draw.
So I played one swipe, spend the Wraths. My Wraths isn't
yeah, one Wrath left, 0 swipe left.
Yeah, that's like combo innovate its face, but I think go its face there.
Yeah, opting to trade the Drake off instead. But yeah, you know, anytime we pick up Savage Roar in hand here and Druid of the Claw, we are, you know, threatening some lethal. Alright, well, he's going to be able to clear with Force of Nature. Taking down most of those minions, leaving up Thalnos on the board. So what do we got here? We've got 4, 5, 6 plus 6, that's 12. So not...
Is that exact?
Yeah, not quite, because he doesn't have the mana.
5 plus, I think that's exact lethal, right?
Is it?
I think so.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's exactly 13. Okay. So,
Claw lethal.
yeah. Interesting game. That was pretty close. Both players really kind of fighting for the board, really back and forth board battle there between druids. So StickyPickle able to tie the series up 2-2. I think that's always kind of the thing we want to see in the finals, right? We like seeing the 2-2 in the finals. So
Yeah, they're probably really nervous right now.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we're sitting back here. We get to be the armchair experts saying, "Oh, you should have done this," or "Oh, I would have done this." But like, really, from a player's perspective, I mean, imagine there's $75 on the line, right? And um, it's nerve-wracking. You know that people are watching. You know that this is going to be the thing that goes down in history as defining you as either the EU champion or the person that sometimes just gets forgotten about. So. Final match here is going to be Siveure playing Druid against StickyPickle's Mage, and should be actually pretty interesting with the giant addition of these 4 giants to the deck.
Looks like no one got a great draw so far.
Yeah, terrible hands. I suppose the Mountain Giant isn't the worst thing, but Siveure with a very slow hand. And
Oh, look at that!
let's see if this guy can do something. Okay, so let's see if Siveure wants to test his luck again here with this StickyPickle. He completely ignored it last time and got the like 1 in whatever it is, 128, 256 chance of StickyPickle drawing 0 cards in 6 turns.
Drink's pretty good here. He can't fireball it, he can't frostbolt it. It's just gonna stick.
Yeah.
Make a rough thing for scenario.
Yep.
Seems. I messed up your curve, but it did not draw a card.
Vape is pretty. Vape is alright here. Given Siveure's wanton disrespect for StickyPickle, I could imagine him swinging face here. But with knowing that Vaporize is in the deck, he's not going to take any chances with this StickyPickle. Even though historically I would say it has worked out for him.
I mean, technically Siveure is nothing playable next turn, right? You don't want to grow face this matchup, necessarily.
No, I don't think so. I mean, with 2 Doomsayers in the deck, and Thalnos, Loot Hoarder, things that can draw cards, Keeper of the Grove seems pretty powerful. Doesn't feel great to fireball a Drake here, wasting 2 damage. We have Vaporize up, so really, Ice Block, developing the Ice Block seems sensible, but again, if we keep playing all these cards out of our hand, that Mountain Giant just gets worse and worse and worse. It's like StickyPickle trying to figure out it's a tough choice here. Right, and I wonder if this ping play is meant to signal, I don't have Vaporize. There's no way it's Vaporize. And just as you expected, Keeper of the Grove saved in hand. Want to use that silence on a Doomsayer. Don't want to get the board frozen and have no way to respond. That's an excellent pickup here.
Yeah. This and the handlock is the only matchups I personally don't grow face.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense with handlock, especially. You gotta save your silence for their Ancient Watcher, right? Let him play the game too. Now he might get a little punished if he does play the Thalnos here, just because we expect Sylvanas is going to come down next turn. We could possibly see Keeper Wrath as well, or Keeper Hero Power. Given that Seveure's got kind of a clunky, awkward hand, he probably would like to play Sylvanas if possible. So Pickle thinking through the lines here, possibilities, thinking about whether he wants to cycle Thalnos now or use it to deal some burst later. Alright. And instantly dropping Sylvanas there. Frostbolt off the top is a pretty fortunate draw. Otherwise, we were looking at fireballing the Sylvanas and giving up our own Thalnos, or having to ping our own Thalnos off. So, able to dodge that.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, I think this is a good choice. There are no minions that are going to be big enough for him to, warrant BGHing. There's no Ragnaros in Seveure's deck. And Siveure opting to keep the pressure on with this Chillwind Yeti, but now we're going to start seeing the Mountain Giants roll in. And Siveure trying to draw as fast as he can, trying to get combo, trying to get anything that he can to deal with this a little bit of aggression from his opponent. So yeah, good question here. Do you deploy the Ice Lances to block off lethal with Force of Nature Savage Roar, or do you trade in? It can feel kind of bad to trade this Mountain Giant in only to get it swiped off. Or
I
Wrath.
haven't played this matchup too much from Mitch perspective. I don't know if they can. Like the fast play would be to lance it face, right? I don't know if you want to go for like the fastest slow play.
That feels like it might be fairly all in. I think yeah, it looks like he's just going to freeze both minions here on the board. And leaves
Huh.
Siveure in kind of an awkward spot. He can clear one of the giants with Force of Nature Savage Roar, but not both.
That's pretty strong, right?
Yeah, clearing one of them, going face with a little bit is fine. I guess we're a little bit less concerned with face damage in this matchup, just because those Moltens. So we don't care as much about maybe popping the block as we normally would. And this
Yeah, I think that's a pretty clever play.
yeah. Yeah, leaves Siveure, or leaves StickyPickle in kind of an awkward spot here with the Giant on the board. But with this Frost Nova, he's going to be able to clear with Flame Strike next turn after this ping.
Alright, he's not gonna do this here. Oh, this is actually interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Mm. Okay.
Well, from Pickle's perspective too, he knows that there are two cards that have been in the hand for a long time. I'm sure he suspects one of them is Keeper, and I'm not sure if he suspects the other one is Wrath, but certainly we would expect one Keeper. So playing the Doomsayer there would be maybe a little bit of a mistake. Heals himself back up. This is going to play right into Flame Strike, though.
Yeah, I suppose that's one like Black Knight. You could go Black Knight. Counter the big game would have played it. Could be Savage Roar maybe.
Yeah.
That's where I like the Keeper draw.
Alright, and Siveure opting to draw here doesn't really care about too much about damage that's coming his way. And doesn't opt to play the Earthen Ring either. That's an interesting choice for me because you probably want to get as much power on board as possible. If Antonidas hits with Ice Block, it's not super trivial to deal with. I'm also looking at this line with just Fireball, Ice Block, and Doomsayer here. Just make it really, really, really awkward for Siveure to develop next turn. He's going to have to play Keeper to silence the Doomsayer.
And the Archmage Ice Block seems so good.
It does.
The opponent can't proc and kill it, so it's...
It does. I feel like prepping it with Doomsayer ahead of time might be better. Of course, if he's got this same read that Keeper of the Grove is in hand, then, sure, maybe don't play the Doomsayer. But now Siveure going to be able to develop with... he's going to opt for Karen instead of Chillwind Yeti and Senjin. Also gets the hero power in. It's nice. Doesn't choose to hit face with the hero power, though. I'm wondering about that.
I mean, it's gonna Ice Barrier, but we're definitely gonna have to face this game.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was
first one with spells.
Yeah.
There's no express on those ones.
And it looks to me like Siveure is really prioritizing his HP here, trying to hero power every single turn. And yeah, now he's hitting face, but
It's yeah. I mean, didn't Sticky burn double ice dance? How does Sticky kill him?
yeah, he's just got one fireball left. Tony's out of the deck. Got two Molten Giants, but haven't seen either of those, and with a HP total of 20, it doesn't seem likely that he's going to be able to play those.
Ooh.
Alright, good silence. Siveure still prioritizing this armor gain. He's up to 4 armor now. That's not insignificant in this matchup. And with 15 damage coming from hand for StickyPickle, not quite enough to finish Siveure off.
Yeah. And if you're a mountain giant, you just can't play it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Siveure has done a good job of controlling StickyPickle's HP total. And okay, gonna try and clear the Doomsayer off here. I think this is the right decision. Yeah, and probably with the swipe is okay too. We know that there's only one Blizzard left. That's the last clear left in the deck. Or the last AoE, I guess, left in the deck. And yeah, all these huge minions from Siveure really just depleting the resources. Alright, well, I think you gotta send it here, right? And you can, I guess you
There's
can
no.
hero power the face. Next turn we're hoping to top deck Fireball. The thing I'm thinking here is if you draw like Loot Hoarder, you want to ping your own Loot Hoarder off if possible to draw into Fireball, the second Fireball. He's going to actually clear this Earthen Ring Farseer off. Okay, so Drake doesn't find Swipe. And I think a very prudent choice by Siveure here to hero power with the Innervate. And if Pickle finds his 1 in 7 chance at Fireball, that's going to be game. He's got really two chances, a couple of chances now. With that Ice Block drawn.
He really does. This no big space return, yeah.
And Seveure's out of healing. He used one of his lures to draw. So completely out of healing. That means that next turn Fireball is lethal, and we might actually see StickyPickle.
Oh, this is crazy, man.
It really is.
Let's have Cardra as well, man.
Yeah, like there's so we got Ice Block. Second Ice Block's gonna be played next turn. We got 2 copies of Loot Hoarder.
I'm more likely to actually win.
Well played.
Yeah. Well played indeed. Maybe a little premature though. Still figuring out who's going to win this. I'm not sure. Let's see.
We can tell how nervous Siveure is.
Yeah.
The fact that he just doesn't end the turn.
Yeah.
He doesn't understand.
Both players sitting here thinking like, what are they going to play? For some reason, the deck tracker here not completely tracking. Okay, there it goes. So yes, we do have 5 cards in the deck. One more chance. Okay, so the problem is Loot Hoarder no longer is lethal. Because of this 7 HP.
Not.
Yeah, we can't ping our own Loot Hoarder and play Fireball. But still, a 1 in 5 chance. There's a 20% chance that StickyPickle just wins the game right here. Holy hell.
He's so nervous.
Oh my god. Yeah. This is like a horror movie where, you know, I got my eyes covered and I'm just peeking out from behind my fingers. And yes.
But if you just Hoarder and it pings it, the Fireball is gonna regret that Farseer ping.
Yeah.
But it was probably correct.
I think the Farseer.
Oh no.
I
Is
think
it gonna
that
look for it? Oh, it's so painful.
It is. It really is. It really is. He knows he's drawn dead here. And it's Blizzard.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't quite do it. Still that one damage to face. So yeah, hell of a match here between these players. Really good games, well played by both. And Siveure just pulling it out by the skin of his teeth. All right, I feel like I need like a mental health break after that series. That was really something. Really good games by both. You can see the final score up here. Siveure taking the finals 3-2, taking home a $75 check. So he's able to win with his Druid, Warlock, and Rogue. And StickyPickle barely not able to draw that fireball off the top. That'll probably, hopefully won't haunt him for too long. So let's see if we can get a winner's interview with Siveure. Get his thoughts on the madness that just went down. All right, cool. So let's get him in here. Well, hell of a tournament, really. Once again, our biggest tournament ever that we've had so far. So really, really good to see that. Almost a full 32-person bracket. And we'll get Siveure in here. Just always have to friend people. This is a good way for me to make friends. It's by playing Hearthstone, or by casting Hearthstone. Oh.
But that was a crazy ending. What the hell?
Yeah. Oh my God. Just, yeah, turn after turn there, looking to draw into that fireball, and having to choose whether to ping or where to ping. Just, yeah, really difficult decisions from both players. All right, let's see if Siveure has accepted my friend request. I'll need you to accept mine as well here to get him in on our DM.
Oh. Yeah, one sec.
I'm making all kinds of friends today.
There we go.
Cool.
No, we're friends. So I don't know why I didn't have you then.
Yeah. Thought that was kind of weird too. All right, cool.
We like direct message.
Yeah. I think that's just because we're in the same server, but yeah, kind of weird that it has those requirements. All right, so Siveure, hey man, how you doing? You there? Got you in the call. Can you hear me?
Hello? Hello?
There we go.
Oh, hello.
There we go. Hey man. Hell of a finals series there. How are you feeling?
Oh,
You're sucking. It's exhausted.
that last game, like, I was counting the damage, right? And I thought, I cannot armor him, this is fine. And then he started pinging me and I realized, oh, he's got exactly enough.
Could have been just one fireball off the top was all it took, right? 20% chance there to just straight up lose the game.
Like, I knew, like, 5 turns before hand, right? Like, I'd worked it out, like, oh, he's got exactly enough damage in his deck to kill me, and I don't have any more healing left. So I was just like, I really hope he doesn't top deck it.
We were really kind of biting our nails there as well. Just like so many different things that could happen.
I thought I'd make it a bit more dramatic by slow rolling the action. Ugh. And then there was the semifinals as well, where like I had the top deck war with the shaman. And it's just like,
yep. A couple of those matches, just like you and your opponent just beat the hell out of each other until you had no cards left, and you ended up top decking.
Yeah, it was just like, you're doing everything you can. It's kind of, there's not much you can do when it's come down to the top deck. So you just feel it, like.
You just hope you built your deck right, and hope you draw the right cards.
Well, hope you built your deck right, and hope you set yourself up for the top deck wars as well as you could.
Yeah, totally. And sometimes in these tournaments with such good decks, that's what it comes down to, right? It's just you both have good cards, you both have good value.
Like, the turns before that are tough, right? Like, when it's top decking, there's not much decision, but before that, you got loads. Ugh.
Yeah. So run us through your lineup a little bit here. You brought combo druid. You brought
Okay.
a Zulok. You brought this peculiar rogue, and your control
Well,
warrior as well. So
okay.
what was your purpose here?
Well, let's just talk about the rogue. This rogue is one card off of the standard list. I'm playing a Taz Dingo over a Conceal. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, I've been playing like the two Conceal, one Taz Dingo. It's like, my thinking there is that I expect a lot of my opponents to ban rogue, and I was trying. Right, so I want to tech my rogue for lineups that don't ban rogue, and I thought those would be aggro decks.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I didn't expect like what would actually happen here, where the rogue was playing, where it was playing against these like really controlly lineups that like had like mage and stuff.
Right.
But even then, like having more minions to get around like vaporize is a bit nice. Like this is the first like I didn't draw Taz Dingo until like this is finals.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
And then-
really it's just one card in the deck, right? Like it's
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, it may seem
Yeah,
significant
it-
to drop a conceal, but at the same time, you know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just one card.
Yeah, like I just figure like I want to tech for decks that are not banning rogue, because I expect a lot of decks are going to ban rogue.
Mhm.
So, and then the rest of the lineup, it's I have to talk about the deck I'm not playing. I think, which is Shaman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what was your choice there?
So, like my first thought was the best decks, right? The best decks lineup where you want to have as few counters as possible, and you want to beat like people that like build really weird bad lineups as hard as you can. And I thought that was Rogue Druid, Shaman, and then Zoo. And I've lost faith in Shaman because there's just a bunch of these aggro lineups. Like it's bad into Zoo, but it's also bad into like aggro Paladin and Face Hunter, and I kind of expected those a bit. And like it also doesn't hurt that like I'm replacing it with Warrior, which like is better into those aggro decks, but like it's also really good into the Freeze Mage.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And like the rogue matchup doesn't matter. Like so it's a bit worse against Druid and it's worse against Shaman, but like I thought that those were fine trade-offs to make for how good it was against like aggressive decks, because I expected that like I would have trouble with the aggressive decks more than I'd have trouble with like a Druid Shaman lineup. And I was kind of hoping there wouldn't be that many Shamans.
And there weren't, honestly. We saw a dramatic decrease in Shaman in this tournament compared to what we normally see. And we actually saw it kind of fail abysmally on stream. A lot of Shaman decks failing even against Druid.
Yeah. Like, and if you're not going to play Shaman, I think the next best decks are like the Warrior and the Zoo. Like, I'm not a believer in Paladin. Like, I think it is real. Both control and aggro. I think they are sort of real, but I just don't think they're as good as Warrior. And like I don't like Hunter. And then it's like Mage, I think Warrior's just a better Mage. I feel like at least if you're banning Rogue for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you bring these decks kind of anticipating aggro. We didn't really see much aggro in this tournament though. And just in the EU in general we don't.
I realized like after I submitted the decks that there is a bit of a meta difference between NA and EU, and like the NA is where all the aggro lineups are, and like whatever.
Sure.
Like I still had to play against I think like in the first round I played against someone with Face Hunter and Zoo, and I think like the last time I entered one of these tournaments I had the Shaman lineup. I had Shaman in my lineup and I played against someone with like Zoo, and I think maybe some other aggressive deck and my Shaman got farmed, and I'm like, so I'm kind of glad I got the Warrior.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it seems like a sensible choice. One thing that we were kind of discussing a little bit was the inclusion of Kor'kron Elite. We don't see, we typically see higher and higher Legend players playing Kor'kron in the deck. You chose to bring Kor'kron and Sen'jin in your Warrior deck. But just how do you feel generally about Kor'kron Elite?
Well, I think Kor'kron is just very good. Like, I think, like, 4-mana deal 4 is a fine effect, right? Like, 4-mana deal 4 to something is a fine effect, and if the thing you were killing, right, the thing you're doing the 4 damage to was not a minion with 3 or more attack, you get to keep a body.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, it's kind of
Like,
the original
how-
rush minion, right?
how are you killing an Azure Drake, right? Like, and it can go face as well. I think the big thing was the Sengens, which is again like I kind of was taking for aggro.
Mhm. Sounds like we got a extra stream going there in the background. But yeah, keep going. Tell me about this engine.
Yeah. So the Sengen, like that was me like being a bit scared of like these supercharged like aggro lineups again. Like, and I was like, I'm gonna be a bit better than them. I'm not actually sure that cutting Whirlwind and Slam is the best way to do that, but I think it also helps a bit in the mirror, I guess, because I was kind of scared of. I was scared with the Warrior of slower lineups with that, because like
Yeah,
you can get out greeted with the Warrior.
definitely.
It's like you can't really get out greeted with any of the other decks, because those are like have really good ways of winning the game.
Right, and
the
especially with
Warrior,
cards like
like-
Sengens not really helping you win a control on control matchup.
Well, they do stuff. They do a little bit. Like the Sengens do a bit. Like they're going to do more than like a Slam will, where the Slam is like 2 damage to something, and like you might draw a card, which would be bad. Like the Sengen's a bit more oomph than the Slam or a Whirlwind, I think. Although I don't like the way I built the Warrior. I think because like I think cutting the Slam and the Whirlwind is a bit dubious for like just having removal against aggressive decks, and also like there was one of the matches where I was like, oh, I'm out of execute activators. Like I have absolutely no idea activate and execute anymore, and like I didn't need the execute. I think it was against a priest that had a Deathwing in there, so like the Deathwing ended up not getting played because I think I killed him with Grom. Like I think I went like Grom Shield Slam to kill them like in fatigue before they played Deathwing, but like I didn't have any way to activate my execute, like, and I was not like being super liberal with my removal, I think.
Yeah, when you also
So I
run low on activators for Grom as well with no second Whirlwind, no second Slam.
Yeah, like although the way I think of like a lot of the times I find that the way I use Grom is just to like as a rush minion.
Mhm.
And you know, like, oh, this is an 8 mana thing that does 4 to something, and it kills something that has itself, which is like almost everything, and then you have a 10 attack thing that'll kill them. Like that's usually good enough, like against aggressive stuff. And I think I probably thought that like any slower matchup, I wouldn't like need to be like using Whirlwind to like kill a bunch of 1 health things, right? Like so it's fine, but like didn't really work out like that.
Yeah, it's also an interesting choice in the context of these 2 Azure Drakes that you've got in there, where you're cutting 2 of the spells that probably most benefit from the Drake.
Yeah, like I really don't think that was right.
But
I do like Azure.
yeah, getting cycle in there
Just-
is always good, right,
just-
for a warrior.
It's like and like just having minions to play on curve, right? Like it was because like you don't want to like sit back and like let the opponent just have all the tempo and like, all the initiative and just hit you and hit you and hit you. Like you want to like contest the board, and like I'm kind of trying to do that like at 4 a lot of games, whereas I think a lot of decks it's like you play for your active night, you might do something at 4 and then like you're playing removal still and you're really going for them at 6, I think. And like I'm like trying to get there at 4, and like 4 drop, 5 drop, 6 drop is like what I'm going for. Don't know how well it actually really works. Like, and I'm not doing that against Rogue, where Rogue it's just like they're gonna like prep out a sap on one of your things and then you're in trouble.
Right. Yeah, I mean, actually,
Yeah.
I would think even though just like 4-5-6ing it against a rogue, at least you're getting the sap out of their hand. We actually saw very few. I don't think we saw any rogues with 2 saps on stream today. All the rogues that we watched were playing 1 sap, 2 Drake, like you're playing. Maybe what's the consideration there in a slow meta? Playing 2 copies of Drake instead of 1 sap.
Okay, so again, for me, the Rogue thing is I expect that Rogue is going to get that when you're playing Rogue, you're going to be playing against all of these fast decks. That was my thought, like because most like I was expecting most lineups with Druid in them were going to be banning the Rogue, was what I thought. So like, so I don't expect to be playing against that many Druids when I play Rogue. Like I might play some, and like the other big one is Handlock, but like I don't really know what to call. Like I really like the Drakes. Like the way I have set up, like the card to cut is Farseer, but I'm never cutting the Farseer, right? Like assuming the Tazdingo is in Overconceal, like I'm never going to cut the Farseers because I just really want to have the 2 Farseers for all the matchups that are not banning Rogue. And then I just really like Drake because it's just like, if you don't have an Auctioneer, the Drake is the next best card to get because it's just like, it's the same body and like it's way less draw, but it's at least a little bit of draw to get towards an Auctioneer.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of players choosing 1 Drake over 2. We see in the EU maybe a little bit more 2 Drake over 1. Shiv or Fan of Knives, another couple cards
Shiv.
that could be cut. But you felt like you'd rather have 1 Shiv, 1 Sap?
Yeah, like I think like you've got to make room somewhere. Like, like I was like kind of green at Tazdingo in here, and I'm like, I guess I'll cut the Conceal. I guess I'll cut a Conceal because like most decks that are like again, like even the decks that are not like super aggressive, they think they have a plan for Auctioneer Conceal, right? I don't know how real like such plans tend to be. Like I don't think anything in the format is capable of handling Auctioneer Conceal on turn 5 or turn 6. Like if you do it as soon as you can, there's like no answer besides like YOLO Tinkmaster YOLO Spark, which is really bad.
Or like Akanai Circle really from the one priest player in the tournament.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, Akanai Circle, that'll do it, I suppose, yeah. But like, Priest has its own problems with.
Yeah, exactly.
With Rogue.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, yeah, you know, like, you can just wait and play the Auctioneer on like turn 9 against the priest, and they're going to kill you anyway.
But like, I was going very much for like I didn't draw that many Auctioneers, but I just didn't feel like I really needed them with the way I have the deck set up. It's like I'm saying, okay, every deck that like wants to play against Rogue, right, isn't going to expect it to be like super tempo-y. Like I'm going to try and like play minions, like try play a lot of minions and just like fight for board. Like I think a lot of them are like going for like either really aggressive to like beat a deck that is doing very little until it gets to the Auctioneer, or they have really narrow answers to the Auctioneer, and like there's not that much like, oh, we're set to play like a regular tempo game against like your 3/3s and like 4/4s and that I'm going for.
Right.
Like Handlock's I guess the exception. Like Handlock is beating Rogue because its own game lines up well, right? And it lines up well even if you turn it into tempo deck, but yeah.
No, you're mentioning playing against some of these aggro decks. I noticed some adaptations in your other decks as well. Yeah. In your Druid deck, you're not playing Ragnaros, and in your Warrior deck, you're not playing Alexstrasza. Now, Alexstrasza can be decent against aggro in the sense that you get super low and then you're worried. But yeah, go ahead.
Alexstrasza, like just for the, it's like it's either a 9-mana 8/8 with like no text, or a 9-mana 8/8 that'll heal you after like you've already basically won the game against an aggressive deck because you got to turn 9.
Right.
And like and have a relatively clear board. Like it's very rare that against like a Druid, I think, is the big one. Like I was trying to tech the Warrior for Druid, and I think the Alex is just almost dead in that matchup.
Yeah, I would agree.
Gammon as well. It's just an 8/8.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay sometimes, but yeah. And in the Druid, like I don't think Rag is core to that deck. It's expensive. Like if you want a bit of greed, like sure, but like I think the best way to build Druid in general, like at least from my opinion, the best way to build Druid in general is to just like make sure you have a lot of the cheap stuff, because there's not a huge difference in your 4 drops and your 5 drops, and like you're going to be hard mulliganing for like a wild growth or an innervate. So you really want to make sure that like you have a functional hand when like you toss away 4 cards. Like you're tossing away like all the cards that are part of a functional hand that aren't wild growth. So you need to like stack the deck with that stuff.
Yeah.
In my opinion, and like Ragnaros like can just be really awkward if like even in the matchups where it's good, if like you go wild growth and you have like a Savage Roar, like you have like Innervate Wild Growth 4-drop Savage Roar and like Ragnaros like or something like that, like, and the Ragnaros isn't doing anything when you have like 5 mana or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of
So
sense.
I just don't like it, I guess. Like I'm not very eloquent at the moment. I'm a bit fatigued.
Totally.
Were you banning Rogue Siveure?
Yeah, I was banning Rogue the whole time. I hadn't really thought about what this was. Like,
It's even interesting too
like,
because I feel like Sen'jin is helpful against Rogue.
Banned Paladin once. I think I banned Druid once. Like, mostly I was just banning Rogue because like I think the Warrior is bad against it. Like the Zoo is just bad against it. Like I think Zoo, like if it weren't for Rogue, I think Zoo would be like a really good ladder deck. But Rogue is just like a bad matchup for that, and like you don't really have enough compensation elsewhere to make up for like the bad Rogue matchup. But you ban Rogue, and like Zoo's matchup spread is incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Druid
just
course,
stomps aggro,
like,
stomps Druid.
Druid, bad matchup into Rogue, and the Warrior, bad matchup into Rogue, and even my Rogue deck, like, I think like of relevant meta decks, I think the Mirror is where you really want that conceal, because you can just, it is very easy to like. If I didn't have the conceal and they just kill everything, like I just don't draw the conceal and they just kill all my stuff, and then I'm like, oh, that's sad.
Right.
But
and,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of times the Rogue Mirror, there tends to be one very clear aggressor that maybe they get, stick one minion, cold blood it, conceal it, and just try and finish you off with like a Leroy early on, right?
Yeah,
so if you're that aggressor, you really want access to that conceal.
Yeah, like, and the way I built the deck, that's me. Like, I have like 4/3 drop, counting Edwin, and then like Ascension and the like double Drake. Like, I quite like being aggressive in the Rogue Mirror, but I think with the Zoo, like, you're gonna play Zoo, you've got to be banning Rogue. I think because it's like there's the Freeze Mage matchup, but like, don't build a lineup that bans Freeze Mage.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you're running Warlock and Rogue, that can be a little bit of a consideration, but you have Druid and you got Warrior already, right? You can beat the Freeze Mage for sure.
Well, I guess I had my old lineup with the Shaman over the Warrior. Like, that did kind of want to ban Freeze Mage, but like with this, yeah, like it's always going to be Rogue ban for this lineup. I don't know what the second ban should be at all. Like, I think you're good against a lot of stuff. I would think it's probably supposed to be combo druids if you see them, but like, because that's just like I think the next best deck. But like, I'm really not sure.
Yeah, I mean, it also depends on how you tech your own Druid deck as well. Like, if you're teching it with Black Knight, and then you're feeling like you're pretty confident in the Druid Mirror, especially if you've got Karen Sylvanas at the 6th slot.
I don't have Black Knight in the Druid. I was thinking about putting Black Knight in, but I just couldn't figure out what I was supposed to cut. Like, I just didn't like cutting any of the cards in there, because again, like, I didn't want to increase the curve, and I didn't think any of the cards that were 6 or more were worse than Black Knight.
Yeah, I can totally understand that. I think maybe sometimes cutting one Drake is a consideration. HDA, you're really the expert on this deck, so you would probably know better than I do.
I guess Drake is probably one of the worst cards in that deck.
I mean, personally, I'm not a fan of like double Yeti, double Sen'jin, but I see people run it.
Yeah, it tends to be pretty strong in the Mirror, but yeah, in general, like Yeti can fall flat against aggro.
The double Yeti, double Sen'jin thing is at least like a lot of that is for aggro, I think, where you're gonna hard mull. You're really gonna mulligan for the wild growth and the innervates, and like you're gonna make sure, given that you have all the 4-drops, that you're gonna have a 4-drop after you get the wild growth to the innervate. Like that's the idea. Rather than you hard mull for the wild growth, you play wild growth, and then I don't have anything to do on 4 mana, so it doesn't really help, and now I'm dead.
Yeah, that's totally understandable.
That's the idea,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it helps. I think that helps in most matchups, and I think it's a good deal against aggro. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of ways to build this druid deck. I think adding the chill ones to there increases your chances.
Aggro.
Yeah, it increases your chances a little bit of finding a 4-drop if you don't have Swipe, Keeper, or Sen'jin. I don't know how much adding 2 cards increases your percentage of drawing a 4-drop, but I totally understand. It's just one of those things in a tournament also where you want to feel really assured of getting a 4-drop.
It's also like, compared to the 5-drops, Yeti isn't that bad. So if you go like Yeti in Dissension, or something like that, like, that's not like that's not like a bad curve either. Like playing your 4-drop on 5 is fine.
Right.
But like playing your 5-drop 4, that's not legal.
Yeah, I suppose that's one way to look at it.
Just making sure you have something to play every turn that you can, because you are skipping turns.
Sure. Yeah.
And then
it's good in the mirror too, right? Like Yeti is good in the mirror against Druid. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just every match, just have stuff like the Druid is the deck that I'm not teching that because I don't think it needs any tech.
Sure. Yeah. Well, it worked out for you really well. Had some mostly smooth sailing in the prelims, and then a really tense final series there as well.
Yeah, there was one, I think the second or third round. I think I was against this really controlling lineup with like Mill Druid and Control Mage, and I Rogue almost got swept, and I was very scared of that one.
Yeah, against Culture there, we saw a lot of really interesting decks out of Culture, including that kind of hybrid tempo mage.
That looks like a Control Mage to me, I guess, but like just with a Mana Worm, which I guess like
it's got like Kirin Tor in it. It's got some wacky stuff. It's a very interesting list.
Yeah. That list, I was looking at the thing, and I was like, at the match before, because I was waiting on them, Arceus vs Culture, and I was thinking like, Arceus' decks are probably better, but I would rather play them than have to deal with these unfamiliar matchups against Culture.
Yeah, totally. I know. I was asking HDA like, what the hell do you do against like Mildred? What's a good deck against it? Like, is Rogue good?
I think I was thinking like, I'll just like play Zoo and just be aggressive against it, and
then you're running into Starfall and
and a mid-range stuff.
The Zoo was really good for me. Like I don't think I lost a game with it. Maybe once, like, which a lot more you can ask of Zoo. Like I was expecting like rather smooth sailing with the Rogue and the Druid, and then like maybe have some struggles with the Zoo. But like no, the Zoo was just carrying me a lot of the time, like just rolling over people.
I do want to ask you a question about. It was in the finals there. You're playing Rogue against StickyPickle's Mage, and you let a particular Nat Pagel survive on the board for what was it, 6 turns? You let that thing survive?
Yeah. Well,
didn't draw a single card.
Well, yeah. So, well, I think at first I didn't think it was efficient to kill it, rather than just like playing a minion or something.
Yeah, like
and then eventually I was like, I don't really want to like use an activator and an abyss on this. And then like after it didn't draw any cards, I was thinking, maybe this thing's just rigged, and I'll just leave it there and it don't do anything.
You just take those dice and keep rolling them.
Yeah, like maybe it just won't draw anything. Like, and even if it draws anything, like I don't want to heal him for 4. I guess because my hand was just burst him out kind of deal.
Yeah.
Like I ended up setting up what I thought was a checkmate situation where I had the Leroy in hand, lethal burst in hand, and the big concealed Senjin. So even if he gets around the lethal burst, I can smack him anyway. But yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's the unluckiest Nat Pagel I've ever seen. That dude was not catching any fish today. Yeah, poor son of a bitch. I feel bad for him.
I don't think you've seen many Nat Pagels.
I was because I think I was chatting a bit with StickyPickle, StickyPickle during the games, and he was beforehand he was saying I kind of wanted to ban the warrior, but I kind of wanted to ban the druid, but I banned the warrior because the druid didn't have Black Knight.
Mm-hmm.
And then so then at the start of game 4, right? At the start of game 5, after he's beaten my druid twice, and it's the only deck I have left against his mage, I'm bet you're glad you banned my warrior instead of my druid now.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and then he's the series would be over if the Nat just drew me a card.
Yeah, a single card.
So bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I wasn't keeping track of how many turns. I wasn't keeping track of how many turns, but
oh, it was 6.
I did notice that I wasn't drawing anything.
It was 6 in one game that Nat Pagel didn't draw a card. I think I speak for everyone here when I say my heart goes out to StickyPickle. A rather unlucky Nat Pagel there.
Yeah. I had a rule, right? When I played this a lot, and I got mad about stuff was, you have to work before you can get mad about some random event. Work out how likely it is, right? And if it's more than 5% likely, you can't be mad about it because that'll happen 1 out of every 20 games. And you're playing more than and I was playing more than 20 games a day, and it's 6, not getting it 6 times, that's quite. I think that's a bit less than 5%. So by that rule, he's allowed to be mad.
I would say so. The likelihood of that is not high. One might say not high. All right, so yeah, go ahead.
I remembered with that rule, just working at the odds calmed me down. Even if less than 5%, I'd be oh yeah, I know. New puzzle, my brain would have calmed down, in having to work out the odds of such and such a thing,
right.
Which it worked.
Yeah, a couple of unlucky things there with Nat Pagel not drawing, not top decking the fireball there at the end of the game. That's how tournaments go, right?
I'm also thinking, I guess, about the Shaman game in the semifinals, where I hit him with the War Axe to put him to 3, and it's I remember you noted on commentary why is he trading Svanus? He's it was dead, but he was dead if he didn't. But I was thinking there even if he gets the Alak here, then wins that, he's probably dead on fatigue.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, just can't deal much enough damage. Yeah, that's 2 turns of fatigue.
That was a draw. Yeah, maybe I was dead to Alak here.
I mean, the only thing that really saves there is Alakir plus Stoneclaw, right? And that's the long-term longevity there for not getting hit in the face. But even like you mentioned, going into fatigue, you can't protect.
Yeah. I guess I should say also that I'm very happy, right, to have won a tournament in both regions.
So,
right?
Anticipated my next question there. Yeah, go ahead, tell us about it. Because you won an NA tournament twice, right? You're not an NA player, but you've won that tournament twice. It's kind of funny too because Siveure, the other repeat winner, is an NA player that's won the EU tournament twice.
Yeah.
So now you've won in your home region.
Once or twice.
Yeah, a super strong player.
So I think it was the first couple of tournaments. I had the first tournament, I had a really bad meta read and got demolished, and then I won the second NA tournament. I won the third NA tournament, stopped caring as much about the NA tournaments, and couldn't get anywhere in EU. They didn't join the last one, and now I've won both. And it's nice because I think I didn't enter the last month's one, and the one before that I think I lost round 1, and and then before that is like 3 or 4 months ago, which like, oh,
Yeah.
so that's nice to say that I like still kind of got it and like not like falling behind on
Yeah.
falling behind other players.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you know, I don't think there's any, you know, there's some amount of luck involved in winning tournaments, but winning 2 NA tournaments, you know, and then winning the biggest E tournament that we've had, you know, you can't do that if
Yeah,
you're
like-
an unskilled player or just lucky, right?
Yeah, well, you can, but you need to be very lucky. And like, I'd rather be pretty skilled and only a little bit lucky. You know?
Lucky like
Right.
Nat Pagel not drawing for 6 turns, kind of lucky.
Yeah. Like, I mean, if it drew a card, it wouldn't have been a relevant card anyways. So that's how I think of it.
Sure. Yeah, there you go.
And then the fireball, right? Like, where the fireball was in the bottom 5 cards.
Yeah.
Like, where I was like, I knew like, oh, he's got. It was. I was counting. It was like, all right, I was like, I'm at 22, and he's got 3 fireballs and a frostbolt. So he's not in range, and then he pinged me, and I'm like, oh no.
You know it. You know it's coming then. Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, oh no, he's got enough damage. I can't out armor him. I have to kill him before he draws the lethal damage. And then I did that, but it was a bit of a overdone. Like
yes. Super nail biting.
maybe I was supposed to like heal, but I was a bit worried about the Moltons as well.
Yeah, I noticed there was a turn there you didn't ping face with your face. Maybe in anticipation of that. Maybe just because you didn't want Ice Barrier to get procced.
Like, well, no. What that was about was that I thought I was the control deck there. I thought I was the one who won the game if it went to fatigue.
Yeah.
Right? Because he'd used he'd used 2 ice lances to protect his giants, and then I killed the giants.
Mhm.
So I knew he didn't have that much burst left because like he just didn't have a pyroblast. And the Alex wasn't going to do anything because like the giants did the Alex job.
Right.
So I just thought, armor up the whole time.
Yeah.
And like, I just have to have an answer for the Moltons, like, eventually, and then I'll just win in fatigue. Like, and that's what I thought was going to happen, and then I realized, like, oh no, this won't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But still,
Maybe
you know, you would have been
saved
you could have been dead
maybe.
earlier if you hadn't
Yeah.
been hero powering, right? If that fireball had come off the top earlier, you
Yeah.
would have just been dead earlier. So we noticed you.
Yeah,
were
well, no, at
prioritizing
the
that
very
hero power
end-
armor gain.
At the very end, like, the loot order, ping, if that was a fireball, like that, and I missed 1 hero power, I was dead.
Exactly.
Right? Like, it mattered there, guy. I don't know what he drew, because he didn't play it, but yeah. Oh.
It was Blizzard.
It's like... Yeah.
Blizzard,
And then there
please,
was
they say.
Yeah.
Uh,
Because I'm really not sure, but like, it's like I guess one nice thing about the warrior is that I'm pretty sure it just beats priest.
as most things do, yeah. And we don't see priest anyway in these tournaments for the most part. We saw 3 people bring priest out of
Yeah.
30.
I think I played one of them.
on the priest list.
You're
Like,
on the
but,
priest
like,
bandwagon? You think
we're-
priest is favored against warrior?
I
think,
generally
like, my
priest
experience-
wins, yes.
My experience with it is just like, that the priest just, if you play around their stuff and like recognize that like your hero power is just way better than their hero power,
Yeah.
usually.
Yeah, that's
Like-
interesting. I mean, you know, I would think that the priest is a little bit more versatile in the sense that it can, you know, heal minions on the board. Armor, you can't apply your armor to
Yeah,
minions on the
but,
board,
like,
but
if neither player is getting anywhere, right, and they're both at 30, the warrior hero power does something, and the priest hero power doesn't do anything.
yeah, if
That's
you're
the
planning
big
to go to
difference.
fatigue, for sure. You're also playing a list here
Yeah,
with BGH, 2 Corkrons and 2 Azure Drakes, as well as
Yeah.
Karen. So you have a lot,
think-
and Black Knight. So you have a lot of 4
Yeah.
attack minions that would probably be okay
Admittedly-
against priest with this version of warrior.
Yeah, like, admittedly, my list is a bit minion heavy, so it can't really do the, like, go to fatigue line, but, like, it's still a big problem for them, because just, like, you can get to, like, you can have, like, 40 or 50 health when fatigue starts, and they're going to be at, like, 30.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, maybe, like, and then the hero power kicks in, but, like, you just have a relatively big lead in fatigue, and it's, like, And it's not that hard to like play around. I think it's not that hard to just not let them like have the last minion, because like their big thing is mind, like the big way they get you is mind controlling, and you can just
I
you don't
think,
need
yeah, my
play
thoughts
stuff
is kind of
like that.
insane that matchup, right? If they run it.
yeah, it like
True.
yeah, there is thought skill and there is like
Because Fossil doesn't
the-
draw
yeah.
cards, so it's really... I think they win fatigue usually, but maybe not.
yeah, it's like it's just well, I'm saying that the warrior wins fatigue even if it's drawing a card or two more. That's my thought.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
honestly not that familiar with it. I'm not really a control warrior or a
that's-
priest
that's like-
player, so I don't.
That's like a first matchup. The one I'm not sure about is the shaman one. Where like, oh, I don't like that from warrior.
Yeah, I think generally speaking, shaman just kind of outvalues the warrior with a lot of their
I'm-
hero power, right? The warrior
I'm
hero
like-
power doesn't really interact with shaman.
I'm like kind of glad, to be honest, in the final they banned the warrior because the deck I think I'm least comfortable with. Like, I really like the rogue, and druid is druid, and zoo is zoo. Like, zoo is a bit tricky and like you have to play around stuff, but like it's open deck lists, so I know what I have to play around.
Right.
So like,
Yeah. I could see, too,
Like-
in a tournament situation in the finals, you want to play the decks you're most comfortable with, right? The decks you have the most experience
like-
on.
like just like because you've got all these control lists, and it's like, oh, well, the way this thing is beating my zoo deck is with this like 2 damage AoE. All right, I'm just gonna like have as many 3 HP minions as I can, like to survive that, and then although mostly it is just yeah, I don't know. I think I've been rambly at the moment, and I'm not sure
Yeah.
I've got much more to say.
Well, you've won 2 NA championships. You've won 1 EU championship. You're a first 3-time winner with your hat trick. And you take home $75
Am I
today. You
first?
got any plans for that?
Not really. Like I was playing for the championship. I wasn't playing for the money.
That's right. Everybody who doesn't win the tournament is playing for the money. The
Nice
winner is
bonus.
always playing for the
Nice
glory.
Nice bonus. Am I the first double region winner,
I believe so.
or did someone?
No,
Yeah,
I
that's
believe
nice.
so. I believe so. Got some players that have come really, really, really close, but I think you're the first double region winner. So yes, congratulations on that. Nice job. Very well played. Any shout-outs that you want to give to anybody that's helped you along the way, or anybody that you want to acknowledge before we take off?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out the you guys for running the tournament. Pretty much, like it's really nice that you did it. Like I've been kind of like the only time I really like have been opening Hearthstone lately is to play in these tournaments.
Cool.
Like I had to like it was like 15 minutes to go, and I was like opening Hearthstone. I'm like, oh wait, no, I didn't update it. Oops.
Well, that's really neat
So I
to
was just
hear.
like, and then it at the same time, yeah, like, it's really nice. It's really fun to play in, and like I just don't like ladder, so I don't play
Mhm.
ladder, but I play these, and they're fun time. And like, and thanks for running it, and thanks for casting it.
Yeah, absolutely. And big shout out to the rest of the team here. I'm certainly by no means the only person on the team that works with this. So HDA appearing on the cast today. We also have Carlotta, who's basically done all of the work to set up the server. We've got Amber, who's been helping a lot with different things, including this tournament, setting up a bunch of the A-tier stuff. Derp is here to cast. Derp's also helping in the background with some of our like spreadsheets, things like that. So yeah, a big team effort here. So yeah, I'd like to thank those people as well.
It's like it's very nice. I played a bunch of tournaments like since, over like the 10 years Hearthstone's been out, and like some of them were well run, some of them were not well run, and this is definitely one of the more well run ones.
Sometimes from my perspective, that's how I feel like we did drop the stream there, unfortunately, I have no idea why. Not like I lost internet, but the stream just dropped for a while. But yeah, I appreciate everybody that's all the viewers out there that have been sticking with us as well throughout this. All of the players that played today, some really good games. Fantastic finals series. And Siveure, congratulations once more on your third tournament victory. Look forward to seeing you in some more future tournaments as well. So, on behalf of myself, HDA, Siveure here, and the rest of our Hearthstone team, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in today. I think we're going to end the stream right there. And we'll look forward to seeing you next month in March for a couple more tournaments, NA and EU. So, once again, gentlemen, thank you very much, and we'll see you soon.